Was that the Pete Crow-Armstrong game? That's the question we're going to talk about on today's show. How amazing was that comeback by the Cubs? And how many of you guys watched that first inning and thought it was going to be a blowout in our direction? We're going to talk Cubs baseball in here. Matt Shaw looking the part. The Cubs hoping to hold on to Kyle Tucker and more right here on the Cubs baseball channel. Hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's get this thing going. Wow, what a win last night. Still feeling good about it. Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs baseball channel. And again, thank you for being here. As we talk Cubs, we try to do it every single day. And what a game last night. The Cubs didn't look good in the first inning. I thought Matthew Boyd had some bad luck. The Reds came out swinging. And I thought, well, this is going to be a blowout. And it looked like it was going to be a blowout. And it was a blowout. It just wasn't the blowout that we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the game. And that's because of Pete Crow-Armstrong. Guy hits a 2-run homer, cuts a 4-run lead to 2. Reds build it back up again. Cubs come battling back. And then Hollywood Pete smacks a grand slam. And all of a sudden now you're looking at Pete Crow-Armstrong and you're going, man, this is really, really something. What this guy has turned into, and I'm listening to the Cubs broadcast and, they're talking about maybe Pete Crow-Armstrong can be Kenny Loftton. I have never seen him as Kenny Loftton. I've said it and go back and watch the videos that the guy he reminds you of is Bryce Harper. And he looks like Bryce Harper right now. The energy that he plays with is like Bryce Harper. Where was the power? Well, look at the wrists that the guy's always had. I think he's a much better power hitter than Kenny Loftton. Loved Kenny Loftton. Remember watching Kenny Loftton. Never saw Kenny Loftton comp here. And now we're looking around the league and we're going, who could, what is the ceiling for this guy, right? I mean, what could he potentially be? And that's a great question. The thing I love about him is that he's so Javi Baez-like when it comes to wanting to win. Right now his WAR is +3, 3.3. I mean, think about that. Center field, there's not a better defender. But you talk about 14 home runs, 45 runs knocked in, 14 stolen bases, right? The batting average is hanging in there at a 287. The on-base percentage at 319 is the one thing where I feel like, and part of that, obviously is, the strikeouts, 51 strikeouts and 202 at-bats, but they don't even care about that much anymore. When you talk to like baseball executives, they'd rather have the power and the production over the on base percentage. And he batted cleanup. And I think a lot of us always felt like he'd be a leadoff guy. I did. I like him coming back around, but he's cleanup, 2 home runs. He's got power, enough power to hit 30 in a season or more. But when you mix in the base running and the defense, I mean, you're talking about an elite player. He's the Cubs version of Elly De La Cruz. He's the Cubs version of Ronald Acuna. This is a guy that I think that the Cubs ought to seriously think about doing like what the Atlanta Braves do when they have like a star player. Go ahead and get the guy signed now while he's affordable. And I just don't see him taping off and becoming a guy that can't play. This is the first time he's ever been in a league where he's been allowed to kind of keep up with the league. Every time he's been somewhere and he's done well, they've moved him up. Then he get to the big leagues, and for a while he was overmatched. He's not overmatched anymore. This is exactly the way that you want to have a player blossom. Where they're young, they're in the big leagues having success, there's more failure to come. But as long as he plays defense and runs the bases, then you got him up there and you're pretty happy with the production. But now he's proving that he can be a superstar type of player, which some of us felt like he could be. Does he have the power to be Bryce Harper? I don't know. But that's who he reminds me of. And he's reminded me of that from the beginning. Go back and watch the video one of our shorts here on the channel. But I loved it. Every bit of it. I loved it. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But it's been fun, right? Matt Shaw looks different this time. I think that's a fair assessment. Even the outs look better. How about some of the defensive plays that he's made at third base? He's such an important part of this Cubs team. And he saves them having to go out and sign or trade for somebody, right? We talked about the Cubs and the Dodgers being in the mix for Ryan McMahon of the Rockies. There's a big salary that comes with this guy. And I don't know what what the cost is going to be, but if you're Colorado and through 50 games, Colorado is the worst team since the what is it, 1895 Louisville Colonels. I mean, what is this? You're talking about 1895. These guys that were in the Civil War on that team. So that's how terrible they are. They're going to want a lot back in a deal. And so if Matt Shaw can really handle third base, and it looks like he's kind of able to do that right now, that's only going to help the Cubs. And I just got the feel that it just looks different this time around. He just looks a lot more confident. He looks the part. Since he's been back, I thought he's played really well. Now I know he didn't get a hit against Cincinnati, but the at bats were good. And you're not going to get a hit every day in the big leagues. But I think he does look different this time. Now, the last thing I wanted to get into, and we'll talk more about this kind of moving forward, but Jim Bowden, who is on the or Jim Bowden, who's on the with the Athletic and MLB Network, he's got a list of teams that he thinks are going to go after Kyle Tucker at the end of the season, right? Somehow the Dodgers are going to have another $600 million to spend on a player. The Yankees, they lost out on Juan Soto. There were some upset people in New York over that. I figured they'd be in the mix. And the Phillies, he says those are the teams to watch along with the Cubs. That's who the Cubs are going to have to battle to keep the star. We'll talk more about that. I know some of you guys are like, how do they know? They know because they're executives and people talk. And when guys like him say that, he's heard from somebody there, hey, we're thinking about it, right? So that's how they know. Anyway, Cubs take on the Reds today. Another, divisional battle. Another one of those games where you look at it and you go, this is for the Cubs an opportunity to take over the division. And, they'll do that in Cincinnati. And hopefully they continue to do what we saw them do in that game yesterday, and maybe not have to come from behind.
Baseball season is a marathon and not a sprint, and that's great news for us because there's so many games to bet on. Don't miss a second of the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game day until the champagne pops and the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook has got you covered with same-game parlays, odds boosts, and so much more. There's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code CBC. Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC, the crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code CBC and bet $5, just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC, Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right, pitching matchup today for this showdown in Cincinnati is looking like this. You got the Cubs with Colin Ray and the Reds with Corey Abbott. A lot of threes involved here. 3-0 record for Ray, who's been so good for the Cubs, 2.38 ERA. Abbott's 3-0 with a 1.80 ERA for Cincinnati. He's a good young prospect, and that's going to be 3:10 Central Time at Great American Ballpark. Go Cubs. Hopefully they'll be able to get it done. Again, thanks for DraftKings being part of it. And don't forget that our DraftKings code is CBC for Cubs Baseball Channel. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Again, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Baseball and Memorial Day, they seem to go hand in hand. But anyway, thanks, guys. Go Cubs.